Happy New Year. It's feeling more like March here in Pennsylvania than it is January. And while that is amazing, it feels kind of weird. But we're just relishing in the fact that we can be outside in flip-flops without our Carhartts and our hats. And we are working on our greenhouse and laying the foundation, laying the beds, so that when it really is March or end of February, we can get in here and start planting some cold hardy crops. We were looking for some onion sets today, hoping we could find them, but none of them ship until spring. So we may just plant some lettuce in here and see what happens, make a go of it, just for an experimental trial and error. And while we're on the subject of laying the foundation, I kind of want to start fresh here. I want this to be a fresh slate in our YouTube channel and start from scratch. Start back to basics. And so I am starting something called Take Root in 2022, because there is this movement, this mass movement for folks that want to get back into knowing where their food comes from, being connected to the earth, being connected to their land, being connected to their food supply, their food source, their families, slowing down, and really being connected to the local economy as well, buying local. If you don't have land, maybe you want to buy local and you want to buy from farmers that are in your area. If you have a little plot of land or you have a raised bed that you're planting this year, you want to know, okay, where do I start? And so this is the start of our Take Root Challenge. Share it with your friends, subscribe, make sure you don't miss anything. And go to our website too. If you scroll down to the bottom of our website, you can put your email address in and you'll get all the free videos that I have here on YouTube, recipes, resources, anything that I put out. It's going to be absolutely free because I want you to have just all this information at your fingertips. But then again, maybe I'm just another voice in the sea of homestead YouTubers, because there's so much out there that we get overwhelmed. And I just did an Instagram live the other day on what defines a homesteader, and I went into detail of when we started there was no one. We went to YouTube to learn every specific topic, but now you have YouTubers, homestead YouTubers, that are just sharing their life every single day of their life, which is awesome, and we love to watch all of our friends on YouTube. But it can get overwhelming if you're just starting, and you may feel like you're okay, this big, can I do it? But I want to let you know that your story is yours, and you get to write your story. And no matter where your starting point is, it's yours. So find something you love and you really want to learn about in 2022 and dive in. So I'm going to cover it's going to be hopefully not overwhelming. I don't want you to feel like it's overwhelming, but I'm going to cover a plethora of topics, season by season, layer by layer, because that's really how we learned. I mean, we were so excited. We had our eyes were glittering, we can do this, we can do that. When you think about everything that you can do, the sky is the limit. We just sat down today, every New Year, we sit down with our kids now that they're older. They're, not grown children, but they're old enough to have a say in this. And that's the beauty of homesteading with kids. We raised them from babies on up in this lifestyle. And yes, it was hard. And yes, it was a lot of bouncing back and forth and tag teaming and feeling like I wasn't doing what I should be doing on the farm. I was more in the house doing the home stuff, but that mattered. I want you to know that what you're doing now matters. If you are baking sourdough bread for the first time, that matters. If you are learning how to ferment, that matters. If you are learning how to cook from scratch, all those vegetables and the meat that you get from a farmer, if you're learning that, that matters. That matters in your story. And so I'm going to be covering a plethora of topics of where we started, the foundation, and I'm going to take it real simple, and I want you, real basic, because I want you to know that this is simple, but I want you to find one thing that you are just craving and you want to learn and dive in. So I don't want to be the only voice here. I want you to say, okay, wow, Sarah, you really tapped into something that I want to learn, and I'm going to learn from you, but I'm also going to learn from, a bunch of other people too, because, that is essentially how we learn. We take in everyone's experience and we kind of gather them in our thoughts, and we gather that path that we're going to take. We sit down and we devise a plan, and then we go for it. We work out how it works in our mind, and then we do it according to us, and that's your story. And so you're going to be writing your story. You're going to be painting your own picture. I could probably cry right now. Like, if you know me, I tear up because I'm passionate about this. That's how we learned. We gleaned from beekeepers. We gleaned from gardeners. We gleaned from home cooks, and we took all that information into our brain pathways, and we made it our own. And so the gardens that we have created, we've gathered ideas from other people, but we've made them that they don't look like anyone else's. They're our own, because you can't replicate someone else's story. You can't replicate someone else's homestead, their journey, their path there. Remember that you are going to create something amazing this year in 2022. So we're going to start off with planning, because I feel like January is the nurturing and nourishing month. It's the month where you sit down and you really just hone in on all the possibilities that come in spring. Homesteading doesn't start in spring. It actually doesn't start, it starts when you start, because it's an ever-evolving thing. It happens all year long, every season. That's why I say season by season, layer by layer, every season has its task. And every season builds our personal character, builds our home economy, it builds our land, it regenerates our land, it regenerates our soul. And so I don't know where I was going with that, but we're gonna start with planning your garden, because I feel like that's where a lot of people are. That's where, maybe not you, but maybe you are, I don't know, but I feel like I've been getting a lot of messages, or I'm seeing a lot of things on Instagram and Facebook, like, I want to start a garden, where do I start? I'm going to give you 3 tips, maybe more, 3, is when we started, gosh, we just planted everything. We had the seed, and you may be getting these seed catalogs. They might be coming in your mailbox, and you're like, wide-eyed, sparkly eyes, reading them and being like, yes, I want to grow this, I want to grow that. Can this grow in my zone? Let me tell you what, we have a lemon tree that we've had for 10 years, and we are finally getting a lemon, but I think it's a lime. So it must have been a lime tree. I don't know. We've nurtured that thing with hopes that it would produce. We bring it inside in the wintertime, we take it outside in the summertime, because we were just like you, laying in bed on a January night going, wow, we can grow lemons, we can grow kiwis, oh my word, we can grow pawpaws, we can grow Saskatoon blueberries, cherries, huckleberries, loganberries, all the things, right? And so your mind is blowing up right now with all the things that you can do, and the possibilities are amazing. But I want you to rein in, focus. I'm a dreamer too. I get it. Totally get it. Brooke told me to keep dreaming, because I said this off the wall comment today that we need to make space in order to bring more possibilities in. And he goes, whoa, hold up. You ask for forgiveness after. And I was like, what? Okay. So I'm just going to keep dreaming. I'm a dreamer too. But I knew at the beginning we planted a lot. Our first garden, we planted a bunch of stuff, forgot about the time aspect of it, didn't weed, and we had to mow our potatoes, our beets down just to get to them, and they were so teeny tiny because we didn't take the time, we didn't leave that space to cultivate, to weed, to nurture. We just threw everything into the ground and was like, this is fun. And it was. And I look back, and that was our story. That was our picture that we painted. And we look back with fondest memories. And we had little babies in tow. And it was just chaotic, crazy, amazing mess that we would never give up in a lifetime. But as I shared with you on Instagram, if you were on Instagram, we have learned from trial and error. failures and successes. We are not an expert at all. And I don't want to be your expert. I just want to be here along with you on this journey, because it's not a destination, it's a journey, and it's so fun. And I want to hear your stories, and I want to help you maybe cut corners just a little bit so you don't have to mow your beets down and your potatoes down, and you don't raise a lemon tree for 10 years that you've become so attached to because of sentimental purposes. Seriously, that lemon tree is like sentimental. Neither of us can throw it out. And now it has become like our faux Christmas tree every year. Like this year we decorate it with lights and put everyone's Christmas cards in it and put Christmas ornaments on it. Like seriously, it is like a sentimental thing that we can't get rid of. But all that to say is 3 things. I want you to know your zone. If you are a brand new gardener, research your zone. Within the United States and all over the world, there's zones, but I'm speaking mostly to those of you that are in the United States. There are zones, and those zones will help you read seed catalogs. They will help you read seed packets to know, okay, well, I'm zone 6, but this says it only grows well in zone 3, so I probably shouldn't grow this vegetable, this fruit, this bush, whatever it is, because I have a winter. Whereas, maybe some of you are in Florida and you may have you have a very warm climate, depending where you are in Florida, and you may be able to grow things that I can't grow here in Pennsylvania unless I have a heated greenhouse or I bring things inside, which my house isn't big enough to do that. The lemon tree takes up enough space. So know your zone, and within each state there are subzones. So here in Pennsylvania we are zone 6B. And so for me, I know that when I look at a seed packet and I'm reading that seed packet, I will be able to be a better judge of character of what, does that make sense? Better judge of what I can grow if I am experimenting. I'm not saying don't experiment, because that is fun. But you can maybe 1 or 2 crops a year, like, hey, let's have some fun with this. Like 2 years ago, we did those little tiny cucamelons. Is that a cucamelon? Muskmelon. We did those. We did it because it was like, ooh, everyone's raising these and they look really cute, but they didn't taste good. All right. What else did we do? Oh my word, those little tiny cucumbers. They looked like a little tiny melon, and you just pop them in your mouth. Gosh, if I remember, I'll put it in the links below. But that's how much of an impact it made on us. They were cute, and I had them in the kitchen garden, and they were fun to walk down, as we walked through the kitchen garden, pop them in your mouth, eat them for snacks. But it's not something that we raised for a purpose of harvesting and putting up for the winter time. And you're going to find that some things you're going to grow just for fresh eating, and then some things you're going to grow for the purpose of putting up, either freezing, canning, dehydrating, or like storage crops like sweet potatoes and pumpkins. They don't need any refrigeration. They need very little processing, and they are super, super easy, which we're going to get to. We're going to get to some of those things later on in the month, like what are the best things to store. So number 1, know your zone, okay? Number 2, what do you like to eat? So many times we're on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Oh, that looks so fun to raise. I'm going to raise these beans, these dry beans, and I'm going to hull them. I'm going to, take time to sit on my porch and hull beans. Okay. Well, we used to grow peas, and then we realized we don't even like peas. We don't even eat peas. We used to grow corn, because here in Pennsylvania, corn and potatoes, that's what you grow, corn, peas, and potatoes. We don't really even eat corn. Corn on the cob maybe once or twice a year, so I go down to Farmer Merv down the road and I get corn on the cob for my kids just for the experience every now and then. I'll freeze a little bit just for chicken corn noodle soup, but I don't put that into my garden and waste my garden space because it's something that I don't grow a lot of, because we don't absolutely love it. So you're going to learn that. Like, what do you really love to eat? What do you use a lot of? And so I want you to make a list of things you love to eat fresh, and also things that you want to store. We grow watermelon just for the fun of it. Honestly, when you want a watermelon, you want it like now, right? And so I go down to Farmer Merv and I get watermelon or cantaloupe when my kids want it, because when you grow one watermelon plant, all the watermelon comes at one time. All the cantaloupe comes at one time. So if you do want to grow watermelon and cantaloupe, you also have to learn how to alternate your planting. So plant a watermelon plant, 1 week, and then wait 2 weeks or maybe a week and plant another one, so that you have staggering crops coming in, which is going to be a lot of space in your garden. So you got to think about that. Do you have that much space in your garden? So know your zone, know what you like to eat, make a list. Make a list of what you actually are going to eat, what seeds you want to order. Do you want to plant, start your own seeds, or are you going to buy them at a greenhouse? For the longest time, we bought our seeds at a greenhouse. We still do. We do partial. We just started raising a lot of our own seeds or starting our own seeds. And there's some things that we're really not good at growing. Onions. I was just telling Brooke, I'm going to ask my dad to come show me how he grows onions, because he grows the most amazing onions. And we have tried to grow onions and they're just always an epic failure. That being said, we've been farming for 13 years. Brooke has been helping his grandfather since he was a little 5-year-old, and we still can't grow onions. There's things that you're going to learn to grow well, and there's going to be things that are going to be a challenge. Maybe it's just your soil. These are things we can touch on, but know your zone before you even start planning out your garden. Know your zone, know what you like to eat, and make a list of the things you're going to plant this year, okay? You can grab all of that in my PDF. It's right in my show notes, my link notes, right below. I have a PDF designed just for you. It's called The Eager Gardener. And there's even a little section where you can start mapping out your garden once you know your zone, and once you start making a list of the things you like to eat and the seeds that you want to purchase. Because these catalogs, they are addictive. And they will captivate you, and they will mesmerize you, and you will order things that you will say, why did I order this? And you will be stuck with a lemon tree for the rest of your life for sentimental reasons. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining this Take Root 2022 challenge. And I want you to find your starting place. I'll catch you back here on our next episode. We'll be talking a little bit more about gardening and taking that next step to planning. Bye, guys.